To some people, he's one of the NBA's shiftiest centers. To others, he's an indispensable piece for the Minnesota Timberwolves' success. And to journalists, he's the perfect NBA big man of the future. What is clear is that Naz Reid has one of the most special play styles ever to come to the league. You know, people love to use the term unicorn when talking about players who have no comparisons. And while Reid isn't called generational, he has proven to be a unicorn in his own way. The man didn't just set trends as a teenager with one of the most viral collectives in online basketball. Reid is set to be a player that serves as a mold for an entire generation. But if you want to know why, you gotta watch the whole video. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. His family and friends caught on early. Naz had a knack for basketball for two reasons. First, because he was a quick learner. One of those cases of players who are able to absorb technical moves like a sponge. You know, like that friend who at the age of 14 had never picked up a basketball and at 16 was the best player on the team. And second, because the kid had plenty of size to do whatever he wanted on the court. But beyond his incredible qualities that made him one of the best high school players in the country, Reid had other concerns. While he dominated halls across the state in a Rossville Catholic high school jersey, Naz was a part of a viral online collective. If you consider yourself an old head, you may have never heard of them, but every kid who follows basketball knows who they are. Back in 2012, the Jelly Fam was born. Isaiah Washington, a kid from Manhattan, invented a very special movement. A movement that everyone stated to know as jelly. And from there, you saw the birth of everyone doing these nasty finesse finger rolls. Believe me, those dudes were definitely crafty. What does this have to do with Naz Reid though? Well, you can imagine if you know what his nickname is, Big Jelly. Reid was a part of the Jelly Fan and helped extend the movement's reach. His huge frame drew attention when he performed these type of moves for one simple reason. It's not what you'd expect when you see a guy his size playing basketball. Naz looked like a magician with the ball in his hands. His creativity just didn't make sense. But beyond his craftiness, Naz was a fantastic basketball player. In fact, he's the most successful Jelly Fan prospect ever. During his senior year of high school, Reid averaged 14.8 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks per game. And of course, that combination of performance on both ends of the court, coupled with the way he moved, caught the attention of every scout in the country. Considered a 5-star prospect by Rivals, 247 Sports, and ESPN, which by the way gave him a 93 out of 100 grade, Reid received several very juicy offers from colleges across the country. Literally, the best basketball programs were fighting over him. Arizona, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisville, and UCLA. But the college that hit the jackpot was LSU. Thus, the college that had just 2 years earlier taken Ben Simmons first overall in the 2016 draft acquired the services of Big Jelly with huge expectations. Reid averaged 13.6 points and 7.2 rebounds per night in the 34 games he played with the Tigers. And well, while those numbers sometimes work for some freshmen with potential to secure a spot in the NBA draft, that wasn't the case for Naz. On that unfortunate night in June 2019, no franchise was interested in Reid. The reason was simple: the center was out of shape. His combine results were very disappointing, and the general managers discarded the prospect who just 12 months ago was considered the third best power forward in the entire country. But sometimes, not everything is as bad as it seems. When Reid found himself on the edge, he realized he had to get serious about his career if he wanted to make a living in professional basketball. Luckily, just 2 weeks after being undrafted, the Minnesota Timberwolves signed him to a 2-way contract as a free agent. And another 2 weeks later, after a very good performance at the Las Vegas Summer League in 2020, the Wolves converted his 2-way contract into a regular contract. Reid had done it. After experiencing the emotional roller coaster that was his months in Division I basketball, Naz had found a spot in the NBA. Unfortunately, his mission remained very difficult. Reid was not part of the plans for Ryan Saunders, who was the son of the greatest coach in Timberwolves history, Flip Saunders. But not because Ryan was a bad coach, although well, that is debatable. Undrafted players rarely start their careers on a high note. Every minute on the court is an opportunity to prove teams that pass on him in the draft wrong. but every minute on the court also cost sweat and blood. During the first 31 games of his rookie season, Reid played exactly 4 minutes. In fact, by now, you'll probably spend longer watching this video than Naz spent on the court from October to December of 2019. But he didn't give up. In January, he managed to get into the rotation thanks to a string of strong performances. And in the final month of the regular season, he became an indispensable piece of the team, averaging 11.5 points in just 23 minutes of play. Since then, his role has not changed much. Reid has been one of the most important bench pieces for the Wolves over the last 4 seasons. Although Saunders was replaced by Coach Finch, who is doing a great job with the Minnesota team, Naz continued to be a part of the head coach's plans. But something has changed for the Timberwolves. Minnesota has traditionally been a losing team. In fact, prior to Finch's arrival, the Wolves had won 1 playoff game in the last 16 seasons. Sorry, Kings fans, but with your permission, Minnesota was probably one of the most disastrous teams in the league. However, this year, everything's different. The Wolves are the best defense in the entire NBA and have been at the top of the Western Conference all season in what is their breakout campaign. And the truth is, Naz Reid has been a big part of the team's performance. We all know that the NBA is a league driven by superstars. If you want to win a ring, you need at least one superstar on your team. But if time has shown anything, is that this alone is not enough. Role players have an immense influence on the team's record at the end of the regular season. And Reid is one of those players with a noticeable impact. When he was drafted, the scouts said he was a limited player defensively, but he has shown tremendous progress in that area over time. Despite being undersized for his position, the center is able to use his 260-pound frame to his advantage. Reid has the physical power to stop the best big men in the league. While not the quickest, he has also developed the agility to be effective defensively away from the rim as well. And his delivery, energy, and intangibles are always present in his game. But it's on offense where his play is most striking. Reid is a great scorer in limited minutes. For his career, he averages 20.4 points per 36 minutes, and he accomplishes this in a variety of ways. The first is with his long-range shooting. Reid is averaging 41% on 3-pointers with nearly 5 attempts per game, in what is proven to be the best season in this regard. But he's also a player who can sometimes create his own shot. This is rare if we're talking about big men. Naz is a player used to taking risks off the dribble. In fact, he loses quite a few balls for the position he plays. And one of his stronger points is his ball handling, with his nasty in and out dribble and his nice touch around the rim. I mean, we can't expect anything less from someone nicknamed Big Jelly. This skill set is very special. 10 years ago, centers were used to perform only certain tasks. Today, thanks to big players like Jokic, Embiid, Sabonis, Sengun, or even Wembanyama, this has been forgotten. These players are confident enough to move freely on the court and have changed the perception of traditional positions. Naz Reid, who may be far off in terms of the notoriety of his name, is not that far off in terms of ability. A two-way player with a mix of versatility and athleticism that makes him the perfect complement to any team. If there's one thing that players of his profile have proven, is that they're ahead of their time. When we started to see what they were capable of, we felt a similar sensation to when we saw Steph being born at Madison Square Garden. I mean, man, the league is changing so fast. But the truth is that there has not been many role players capable of performing in similar ways. With his two-way game, Naz has proven to be the prototypical NBA big man of the future. Although his game may not be appreciated as such, it's only a matter of time before everyone realizes it. The traditional positions have disappeared, and now every player has to be able to do everything. And what better mold to train new players into than to model Naz Reid's playstyle?